Good morning, everyone. This is His Word Only. Alright, let's get right into God's Word. So today we're going to be reading Numbers chapter 19. As a recap of Numbers chapter 18, we have the duties of the Levites. And that's to keep the sanctuary and the tabernacle, right? And they put down all the vessels, the table of showbread, stuff like this, right? And they're going to be doing that in the land. And then we have the priest portion, which they get the tithe, right? Because they don't have an inheritance. So they get the tenth, right? Or the firstlings, and first of the oil of the land, and all that. What the children of Israel bring for their tithe, right? But anyways, that's pretty much that. Let's go ahead and get started here. Numbers chapter 19. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin, and her flesh, and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take the cedar wood, and hyssop, and scarlet, and cast into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water. And afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the even. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the even. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up without the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. And he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the even. And it shall be unto the children of Israel, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among them, for a statute forever. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead, and purifieth not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him. This is the law, when a man dieth in a tent. All that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent, shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel, which hath no covering bound upon it, is unclean. And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with the sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bane of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person they shall take of the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereinto in a vessel. And a clean person shall take hyssop, and dip it in the water, and bring it upon the tent, upon all the vessels, and upon all the persons that were there, and upon him that touched a bone, or one slain, or one dead, or a grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the third day, and on the seventh day, and on the seventh day he shall purify himself, and wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at even. But the man that shall be unclean, and shall not purify himself, that shall be cut off from among the congregation, because he hath defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of separation hath not been sprinkled upon him. He is unclean. And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them, that he that sprinkleth the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that toucheth the water of separation shall be unclean until the even. And whatsoever the unclean person toucheth shall be unclean, and the soul that toucheth it shall be unclean until even. And that is the end of Numbers chapter 19. As a summary of Numbers chapter 19, we have the ordinance of the red heifer. And we learn that it was given to the Eleazar the priest, and it would be burned whole, right, with the dung and the blood and all of it. And one of the other priests would burn it right in front of him, right? And he would sprinkle the blood, right, 7 times. And then he would have to go bathe and wash his clothes and wait until the even, and then he would be clean, right? And then same with the other guy that burned the heifer. He would have to go wash his clothes and bathe, and then he wouldn't be clean until even. And then we learned that they put cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and they cast it into the fire with the heifer, right? And then they would gather the the water, and then they would mix the heifer ash, right? And it was called the water of separation. They would wash the clothes and stuff right there, right, with it on the third day. And if anyone, any person or any man touched a dead body, right, they would be unclean for 7 days, and on the third day they would have to take that water, right, of the water of separation. And then if anyone died in the tent, everybody, if anyone touched it, right, they would have to take this water of separation. The people who touched the water of separation, they wouldn't be clean until even. And a clean person, they would take hyssop, dip it in the water, right, and sprinkle it upon the tent and the vessels and everything that was in there. And anyone who touched a bone or slain or one dead or a grave, right? And that was pretty much, the law of the red heifer. Hope you guys were edified, and you guys have a wonderful day.